Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special hour-and-a-half episode of Sports Hour! I'm, of course, your host of Sports Hour, Trevor Howard. And with me, we have two guests for this first little panel we have going on here, covering NFL free agency. This on here says insanity, and it really was insanity. We have Sarah, we also have Topher to discuss. I can't even say another word. The insane NFL free agency moves.
That was a good entrance for you. That was.
Thank you so much.
That was definitely one of the greatest.
That was a good one.
Perfectly executed. 10 out of 10.
I practiced if you guys couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we could
of
tell.
course. At least you guys noticed.
Yeah.
Well, we can also just start, with something that I loved and enjoyed from the NFL free agency. Chris Ballard in the beginning, you guys know I root for the Colts. He really wasn't making moves in the beginning. But then there was a big move that was made approximately 2 weeks ago, shipping away Carson Wentz to Washington, to the new Washington Commanders, by the way. They finally figured out their name. But for 2 third-round picks. And
2 years.
they brought in a veteran quarterback that has ice in the veins. His nickname is Matty Ice. They bring in Matt Ryan as their quarterback now. So that's like their 5th quarterback in the last 5 years, I'm pretty sure. This quarterback carousel keeps going on. But earlier today, they signed him to a 2-year extension already. So hopefully, after this year, they can ride with the same quarterback back-to-back years. I'm really excited about this one. What did you guys think about Matt Ryan going to the Colts? I thought it was the best-case scenario.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was definitely the best case scenario. It was Carson Wentz's time was up there, clearly, and probably never should have happened in the first place, as you can attest to, I'm sure.
Yes.
So I think
boy.
this definitely is a good move for the Colts. Absolutely.
And to be fair, he was gonna be in a bad situation in Atlanta. It was gonna be rough there. So now, luckily for him, he goes to a team with a better defense, so he won't have to drop 40 points a game. He goes to a team with a better O-line, so he won't be getting sacked almost as much as Joe Burrow. And as sad as it sounds, he's going to a team with better weapons when your number one receiver is Michael Pittman.
Right.
Well, Jonathan Taylor is insanely talented, and obviously he loses Kyle Pitts and Cordero Patterson, but overall, it's just such a better team for him, and he's playing in a dome, so it doesn't even matter that he's leaving Atlanta. So, overall, yeah, it's an upgrade for Matty Ice. It is an upgrade for the Colts. God, the Falcons are going to be bad.
Yeah, they're not going to be very good.
Shout out to Marcus Mariota, but God, are they going to be bad.
And they got him for 2 years, I think. They
Yeah,
got
they
Marcus
did.
Mariota for 2 years. They brought back, of course, Patterson, and they have Kyle Pitts as a sophomore going into this year. But it's going to be bad things for Atlanta. But I'm thinking, why not a Julio Jones, Matt Ryan reunion in Indianapolis? That would be something sweet to see. Throw it back to the old Atlanta days, where the year where they unfortunately blew the 28-3 lead against Tom Brady and the Patriots. We'll get into it a little bit.
Hey, in my mind, that game only lasted for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
It was the only Super Bowl that ever lasted for 3 quarters, but it was a great situation to be in.
It was it was a great 3 quarters of that game.
Great 3 quarters of the game.
And then a horrible overtime and a horrible 4th quarter. But moving on from that, the Colts finally found their guy. How about Davante Adams to Las Vegas to join the Silver and Black?
God.
Right after Aaron Rodgers signed that massive contract with Green Bay, Davante Adams just turned around and said, "See ya," left him in the dust.
Yeah. That's insane. I want to know, I don't know if they've revealed if Rodgers knew about that yet before he signed this extension.
I hope he didn't.
Because
I honestly hope he didn't. I think it would be hilarious. They managed to get him to come back, and they're like, "Ha!" Ships off Davante Adams, and you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna draft a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
Jordan
Be
Love
surprised.
doesn't matter. They
He's
are
gone.
not gonna take a wide receiver, and it's not going to matter. They are just going to screw over Aaron Rodgers so many times, and it's going to be so great.
And he signed 4 years, $200 million.
It's
You know how much money that is? That is absolutely ridiculous.
so much
And to have your number one receiver just see ya.
Alan Lazard!
Alan Lazard, maybe St. Brown if he's coming back. Nobody
Dude,
really knows.
I don't care. It's
That's just not a good situation to be
Robert
in. Green Bay.
Tunion's the best receiver on that team, and that's saying something because he tore his ACL last year.
Tunyon, and he's a tight end,
Yeah,
too. So that's
that's-
saying something.
It's just Green Bay. What are you doing?
But Las Vegas, now you have Derek Carr throwing to Davante Adams. You also have Russell Wilson in the division now, which we'll get into next. Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. And
It's
then
insane.
that is an insane division.
Derek Carr
It
is
is
the
nuts.
worst quarterback in that division, and he would be the best quarterback in before what we're talking to later. He would have been the best quarterback in the NFC South. He probably would be the best quarterback in the AFC South right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? What's
Yeah.
the South? It's Colts, Jaguars, Texans.
And Titans.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he'd be the best quarterback in the South. He'd be the easily second best quarterback in the AFC East. He'd be the second best quarterback in the NFC East. And
He's underrated.
NFC North, he'd be the second best quarterback there too. It's insane. It's crazy to think about because he is now the worst quarterback in his division. And you gotta think the Raiders trading for Devontae Adams is a chain reaction to everything else that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the last
absolutely.
move, which is that's the most recent move from the AFC West.
And not just
Yeah.
that, like, he's now throwing to Hunter Renfrow and Adams, and he has Josh Jacobs in the backfield.
Darren Waller.
Darren Waller at the tight end position. If he
I hate
doesn't
it.
throw more than like 4,000 yards this year,
If any quarterback
he's not that good.
If any quarterback in the
Point blank.
division doesn't hit 4,000 yards, they're failing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every AFC West game is gonna be 40 points each team.
And there has to be a winner in that division, which I'm super
So
excited to see. Like,
Right.
I'm honestly picking, if I'm super early, I'm going with the Chargers, just because I think them adding up on defense was great for them. But you can't overlook this one that we're going to get into right now. Russell Wilson getting traded from Seattle to the Denver Broncos. This was huge because, I mean, Seattle basically acquired so much from Denver. Like, they got Drew Lock back, they got Noah Fant, they had a couple of defensive players and 2 first-round picks in consecutive years just for Russell Wilson and a 4th-round pick. I don't know why they threw the 4th-round pick in there, but not only is Seattle getting a lot back, but now Denver finally has their franchise quarterback again
Yeah.
since Peyton Manning.
They are
Right.
embracing the tank in Seattle, and I love it because they let Bobby Wagner walk too. Seattle is just 100% embracing the tank, and I don't even know like who they're going for. Like, 'cause I don't know I know like this draft class is good for quarterbacks, but they're not. I don't think they're taking one this thing. I think they're waiting until like they have the extra draft pick next year.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy. Like Drew Lock is going to be the starting quarterback on that team.
Boy.
And we saw how that ended when Denver had to use him last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And I honestly think they should go with a quarterback in 2023 if I'm Seattle.
I don't think they
they
do
have
this
way
year.
better prospects there, you'd think. At least in the first round. There could be a couple decent second rounders this year that they could go after, but that's really like a high risk gamble for them.
Yeah.
It's a high risk gamble going this year because literally you don't know who's drafting a quarterback this year.
Right.
Like there are like 6 teams that now with teams like Atlanta and Seattle now could be drafting a quarterback. So it just turns everything on its side.
And even Indy too.
Indy
they could draft one in the second or the third round.
Yeah, to
and then
train up behind him,
sit
yeah.
the bench to Matt Ryan and watch him play a couple years and develop.
Worked for Patrick Mahomes.
It worked
Obviously,
for Tom Brady.
Obviously, Patrick
True.
Mahomes is a completely different human being. He's the best quarterback in the NFL besides Josh Allen.
Without a doubt.
But yeah, but like he's different because like obviously no one knew that dude was gonna be that.
Yeah.
No one knew, but like he did sit behind Alex Smith for a year.
Like Aaron
Right.
Rodgers sat behind
Brett Favre,
for
exactly.
3
Right.
years.
Exactly.
And you saw
Like,
what happened with him. And
he's
Tom
back
Brady
in-
sitting
Yeah.
behind Drew Bledsoe for 2 years.
Yeah.
And Drew Bledsoe,
Pattern there.
I mean, Tom Brady can run circles around Drew Bledsoe, and it's what he's
Well,
become
yeah, I don't know
now.
about run circles. 'Cause
But
Tom
no,
Brady
he
ran a
can
5'6".
he can throw for darts around him is what I meant. But yeah, that 40-yard dash was iffy from Tom Brady to say the
Not
very
a running
least.
quarterback.
But this just makes the
yards.
AFC West a lot more challenging bringing in a guy like Russell
So
Wilson.
they're all going like 4-4 in the AFC West, right? They're just all gonna split games.
They're all going to split the series.
And it's gonna be stupid because it's not gonna be like. Because it's gonna be really like 2 teams are gonna sweep each other and it's just gonna throw everything out of whack. Like no, I don't think any team comes out of that division with a winning division record. If it's anyone, it's the Chargers because they have the best defense right now.
I think so
Yeah.
too. But at the same time, it's like it's going to be tiebreaker city in that division, and
so
at least
ridiculous.
one of those teams has to go to the playoffs. Probably 2.
Dude,
You're going to
yeah.
have one team win that division and one team go to the wild card.
I
without
saw
a doubt.
I saw a bet online. Do all 4 teams in the AFC West make the playoffs? Because there's 3 wildcard teams now.
That is true.
Is it
True,
just
that is
division
true.
winner plus the other 3 in any order? Do you think that happens?
It's possible.
Do you, like what other team in the AFC? What other team in the AFC is gonna make it? The Ravens, maybe.
Maybe Indy with Matt Ryan.
I was, dude. I'm
Maybe
not gonna,
Tennessee.
I'm not gonna lie.
maybe
Well, no, because
Tennessee.
it's one of those teams is winning that division, and then the rest of it's just gonna be bad. Like,
Yeah, well,
I don't
Jacksonville's
think.
not gonna do
Well,
anything.
Jacksonville and
No.
Houston aren't doing anything, but like, so it's gonna be it's going to be the 3 AFC West teams and then one of the AFC North teams,
Right.
either the Bengals or the Ravens, whoever doesn't win that division. That is what it's going to be. It's going to be 4 teams fighting for the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Patriots do anything. I really think the Patriots making
Or
it
the Dolphins.
I don't think
Yeah,
the
the
Dolphins do
Dolphins aren't
either.
gonna do
I
anything.
don't think unless the Dolphins draft someone instead of Tua. Tua should not be the quarterback of that team.
And he was picked over Justin Herbert.
It's insane. It is, dude.
Unbelievable.
Dolphins are regretting their choices
And
right now.
The Bills going
did
8-0.
during free agency was hilarious too, bringing in Raheem Mostert, a running back that was
They brought
injured
in-
for the past 2 seasons. That'll solve your problems.
To be
Miami.
fair,
Good
they
job.
brought in Taron Armstead, who is such a freak of nature on the O-line.
Yeah.
So, sure, you're
Yeah.
going to protect Tua a little bit, but, I don't think Tua's the answer, though.
Yeah,
No.
you still have to have.
You still
like,
need
you
the
can-
good quarterback. I don't care if you protect the good quarterback. He's not good.
He's not.
You
no.
have to have movement, like actually
No, he's
to do
awful.
stuff. Yeah.
We've seen better prospects out of second rounders.
No, I literally I think Malik Willis will be a better quarterback his rookie year than Tua will be the rest of the year, the rest of his career.
Maybe
I
even
watched-
a guy like
I-
Desmond Ritter too, that's
Oh my
coming in the
God.
draft.
Dude,
this
he's
year.
not gonna be good.
I
Desmond Ritter's gonna
he might
bust.
He might be better than Tua.
He might be better than Tua.
He's
so-
a modern day gunslinger.
I don't know about that.
But you never really
no,
know.
Desmond Ritter at least went to Desmond
Went to
Ritter.
Cincy, didn't he?
Oh,
Cincinnati
I'm thinking of
quarterback?
someone else. No, Desmond
Yeah,
Ritter
Ritter
could be
went to
so
Cincy.
good. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of someone else. I was thinking of the Spencer Rattler. That's what I was thinking
Rattler or
of.
Corral.
He's gonna
All
be.
those guys.
Rattler's gonna be bad. Riddler will
Yes.
be good. Corral could be good depending on the team.
Willis is going to be a beast.
Willis is be a freak. Did you watch his pro day throws?
Yes, and he's projected to go in the top 15 now. He's a freak.
Oh
It's gonna be, so you might see the Steelers or the Giants or the Lions pick a guy like him. I'm not really sure, but
Yeah, no,
it's going to be interesting to see.
Dude, I mean, Giants took Tyrod. They might as well draft they might as well draft the rookie now.
Yeah.
Because Tyrod's curse could still exist. Daniel Jones is not it. Draft the rookie. Let him go. Just
Danny
let
Dimes is no
Let
more.
Daniel Dimes
Yeah.
go. He was a failed pick. You never should have took him. Dwayne Haskins was obviously not the answer either. Both of the quarterbacks taken in that draft after what draft was?
That was 19, so Kyler Murray went first overall?
Okay, yeah. So
That
besides
year?
Kyler, everyone in that draft was bad.
Yeah.
It just,
was
no.
it was not good for quarterbacks.
It looked awful.
at all.
Dwayne Haskins looked like he could be good. He was awful. It just wasn't happening.
And
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to stay in the AFC West here, how about Khalil Mack
Oh
going
my
from
God,
the Bears to the
dude.
Los Angeles Chargers?
I'm okay with this
Huge.
one. I'm okay with this one because I loved the Chargers when they were still bad, dude. I don't care. I'm not bandwagoning this team. I have always loved the Bills, the Chargers, and the Vikings. So 3 of my teams have sucked for the past
3 underdog
since
teams.
I've been
Yeah.
21. Since I've been born for 21 years, all 3 of my teams have been bad. Phillip Rivers was literally he was good enough. That was what it was.
And Darren Sproles was great.
Darren Sproles and LT were awesome. Adrian Peterson was a menace.
Vincent Jackson was
Vincent
great.
Jackson was sick. But now the Chargers are going to be good, and everyone's going to think I'm bandwagoning, and it's going to be so annoying. And I don't care because I love the Chargers. So Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, dude, the defense is insane.
Can we agree that they have the
That
best
guy.
uniforms?
Oh
Like one
my
of the
God,
best uniforms in the
absolutely.
AFC?
I have been
It's
saying
so
that.
good.
Like, what do we think about the powder blues? I love those.
I love them. I love the dark ones. I love the dark blues
Oh, the
too.
navies are
Yeah.
great too.
Dude, they have
Just
no
the-
bad
Oh.
jerseys. The Bills
really
and the
don't.
Bills and the Chargers have no bad
They
jerseys.
never had a bad
I
jersey.
agree.
Bills and Chargers have never had bad. Well, Bills have had one bad jersey.
Oh, the white one with the blue shoulders?
No, I hated the navy blue jersey. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Trent Edwards
Yeah.
has ruined the navy blue jersey for me, so I will never like the navy blue and the red helmet again. That combination can never
Yes,
touch
the
the
red
field
helmet,
again.
that's-
Red helmet
yeah.
could be really cool. Navy
It
blue
has to be with
jersey.
the right-
Yeah, no.
Oh,
navy
the
Right
red
jersey.
helmet, the
It
red
has to be
helmet
paired
with
with the right
with the
jersey.
blue face mask. That
Never
was
has to
great.
touch-
That
never
was
has to touch. Never.
fantastic.
Hey, never allowed to touch the field again. Blue throwback blue jersey is never allowed to touch the field again.
No.
But the Chargers have never had a bad jersey. So
No, it's-
Yeah,
absolutely
that's
true.
facts.
But with Khalil Mack going to the Chargers, Denver really doesn't have a very good offensive line. Wilson's 34.
better than Seattle's was.
Oh, yeah.
So bad, which is saying something. Like,
And Wilson's
'cause
a mobile
Denver-
quarterback was still
Yeah.
getting
helps.
smoked in Seattle.
Like him going to Jerry Judy and Cortland Sutton will definitely be. I watched him throw a pass to Cortland Sutton today in a Broncos helmet, and it was so weird. Twitter is just showing me videos I never thought I was going to be able to see, and it's so weird.
This
really
is the
does.
time of year where you see a lot of players like in random jerseys that
You're
you
like,
never thought they would wear. I saw.
You think you're
This is
like
one
in a dream or something,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
alternate reality.
This is one of the. Can we agree? This is one of the craziest free agencies we've had. In
Yeah.
terms of like
100%.
not even like single moves. Like Brady going to the Bucks was crazy. Like that was one of the single craziest moves we ever seen.
Yeah.
But as a whole free agency, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like obviously there are single moves that were like that shaped the NFL. Like obviously Brady going to the Bucks, Peyton going to the Broncos, stuff like that.
Yeah.
This as a whole is just nuts, and the NFL is going to be so different than last year. Because like I don't remember there ever being so many superstar moves.
Right. It seems
Yeah.
like every team is attempting to make a
Yes.
superstar move.
I know.
Except the Patriots and the Cardinals.
Yes,
exactly.
let's
I don't
go.
get that.
Actually, hey, Vikings aren't doing anything either. Don't worry. Vikings
Except
re.
extending Kirk Cousins. Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. I love him. He went to Michigan State. I will always have a soft spot for Kirk Cousins, but God, does he not deserve to get paid this much money? He is never going to get us past the first round. Case Keenum took us farther than Kirk Cousins ever will.
Throwing to Stephon Diggs. Yep.
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 And it's gonna
Minneapolis,
happen.
he knows
Yeah.
it. Yep.
And if it's ever needed again, we know it can work.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
There we go.
How about we move out of the AFC West for a minute? How about the Cleveland Browns acquiring Deshaun Watson in a
This is
trade, as
That's
well as
touchy.
Amari Cooper from the Dallas Cowboys?
Touchy subject.
Very touchy subject.
Let me just say
Don't
this:
know.
there are Browns fans that are jumping ship to the Bills bandwagon because they don't like the quarterback.
As they should.
There
Yeah,
are Browns
that's
fans in
accurate.
Cleveland putting up signs that say like F Watson. Like it's really bad in Cleveland. And then you have the
Yeah.
other half of the fan base that says, "Okay, we're ready to win now. See you later, Baker."
All right.
Yeah,
What do you guys
it's-
think of it? Do you think this is a positive move for the team?
Okay, so I'm going to look at this purely from football standpoint. So there's just no judgment.
Yep.
Purely from a football standpoint, ignoring the fact that he hasn't played a year. So let's ignore the fact that he has not played all of last year, and just as the talent of Deshaun Watson, they jump into challenging for the AFC North title. They are a team now with the defense, with the decent defense they have, the good O-line, and now Amari Cooper instead of OBJ,
Yeah.
who can pretty, not easily, but who are gonna be, they're gonna fight for that AFC North title. Like
No doubt.
Amari Cooper, I mean, Deshaun Watson throwing to Amari Cooper is scary.
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
wherever Jarvis Landry goes, if he comes back,
He
those
could.
exactly.
He's good. They're
It's a
trying to
thing.
get him
Yeah,
back.
exactly. If he comes back, that team will be scary, and I don't want to play it. Actually, we don't play it this year, so I'm okay with it.
And Pittsburgh,
I don't know who we
throw
play,
that out the
actually.
window. They signed Mitch Trubisky. They're done.
They're-
Pittsburgh's done for the year.
I love Money Mitch and all. You're right. He's not
Yeah.
it. He's
No.
not it.
We
I
like
think-
Trubisky, but
Yeah.
He has a good
He's-
coach. Like
yeah.
it's not
He's
a bad
the
coach.
Nickelodeon most valuable player for crying out
Hey,
loud.
it's not Nagy coaching him, so he can't
Yeah.
be worse than he was on the Bears.
It's
yeah,
Mike Tomlin.
that's true.
Exactly, and like Mike Tomlin can and he's more mobile than Ben. He is. People love to say like Josh Allen has like Ben Roethlisberger vibes and like the mobileness, but like no, he doesn't. He's a million times better. Mitchell Trubisky is somewhat of like a Ben Roethlisberger 2.0 with a little bit more mobileness and maybe a little bit less arm, young in Ben Roethlisberger's
Could
career.
see that.
So like realistic, but like the problem is they don't have Juju anymore, so it's Trubisky to Claypool. They do to Claypool, Deontay Johnson, and then Freiermuth, which isn't bad by any
Right.
means. But that line in Pittsburgh is not good.
And you can't forget
And Najee Harris,
Colts,
of course.
Colts legend Eric Ebron. You can't forget about Eric
Yes,
Eric
Eric
Stonehand's E-drop. You can't forget about him.
Yeah, and Najee Harris. So like if they draft O-line, that'll help them obviously. But like they're right now my bottom team in the AFC North, obviously, just off of quarterback play alone.
I'm definitely not counting Cleveland out. Absolutely not.
No.
This one. My God. We're just running down the line here. Sarah, you wrote this one down on here. Why don't you give us your thoughts about the return after a month and a half? His retirement lasted shorter than the MLB lockout.
Yep, it
Okay.
did.
Tom Brady is coming back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He's coming back. Yippee! He's coming out of retirement. Yo.
Get this out of here. Ew.
That's-
I'm upset I
we
touched
don't-
that.
Yeah, that we don't.
Our
no.
director just threw his Brady
Okay.
jersey in here, and I'm disgusted.
The Racing Geek just
I-
threw his.
The racing geek.
I
is-
touched it.
He just threw his Tom
Ugh.
Brady
No,
jersey
I'm-
out here.
That's-
grossed out.
I'm convinced it was a ploy at this point that he was actually retiring, and it's
Flame
like
Ronaldo.
ridiculous. It's like, come
Blame
on,
Cristiano
just-
Ronaldo.
I
No,
hope he
blame
comes-
Adam Schefter.
Blame
Yeah.
Blame Schefter.
Blame
He was the
Schefter.
one that spoiled the greatest quarterback in all time's retirement, and now he's playing another season out of spite. I'm getting into
Yeah.
these conspiracy theories because I know it's true.
This
Tom
one
Brady's
is
coming
true.
back because of Adam Schefter spoiling his retirement.
Bro, they didn't even lose anyone from the offense. That's the worst. They lost like a few linemen. They did lose a few
little bit.
linemen, but like, and they lost a couple of defensive players because I think
But-
they didn't think Brady was coming back.
They-
They kept Leonard Fournette.
yeah.
They franchise tagged Godwin because they're just ruining Godwin right now. That man deserves so much more money.
Mike
And I
Evans is still under contract.
Mike Evans is just a freak of nature. Like, the offense is still gonna be good because like Gronk's gonna come back if Brady's there. Gronk is
Yeah.
just not gonna retire until Brady officially leaves.
Right.
Yeah.
So like.
Which, who knows when?
Yeah,
At
like
this
honestly,
point.
the line being worse could hurt him. Like they're gonna, I mean, dude, they're gonna sweep the NFC South. Like it doesn't matter. The NFC South is a joke now. That's probably why Brady came back, for God's sakes. But like, it's just bad.
He probably called up his buddy Matt Ryan and say, "Hey,
Hey, you
are
wanna-
you leaving the division? All right, cool, I'm coming back. Thanks."
Yeah, that's
Yep.
literally all it was. But like, yeah, no, it's just like there's nothing changed now. Like it's just like the Bucks are still a contender now. Like it doesn't. It changed the scape of the landscape coming back, but it also didn't because now they're just gonna sweep their division and they easily have a playoff berth. Like it's just it is the easiest path. They have the easiest strength of schedule.
Right. Panthers, we thought they were going to get Watson. Nope, that didn't happen. We thought that
They're
the
drafting
Saints, bringing back Jameis, okay, but you're probably not going to be Tom Brady.
No.
And Atlanta, we already mentioned them with Marcus Mariota. He's definitely sweeping that division. And let's get into the Buffalo Bills. This is what we've been waiting for a long
left it-
time.
we left it
I
last.
can let you guys take over
Very-
this one, but Big Baller Bean.
Big
That's
baller
it.
bean.
Big
That's all
baller
you can
bean.
say about him. I mean, come on. I mean, I think if you want to pull up the graphic.
Oh yeah, we have.
That we have a
We're gonna
graphic,
just list it all
list
off.
all of the players, all of the moves that Big Baller Bean and Buffalo
He's a
Bills have
menace.
done this free agency.
Look at this,
This
dude.
is insanity.
Like-
Top of the list, Von Miller.
Oh my God.
Can't even tell you how excited I am. That's gonna help.
I don't know about you
Immensely,
guys, but I'm looking
like-
at the bottom two players. Underrated. Matt Barkley and Case freaking
Bitcoin
Keenum coming
Barkley,
back.
baby.
We're so glad Barkley's
Bitcoin
back, though.
Barkley. So like no, but like the thing you have to look at is Case Keenum's the backup. Barkley is going to be what's his name was last year. Sorry.
From
Oh, Jake
no,
Fromm.
no,
State
not
Farm.
from. The older one. Who was the older quarterback?
Oh, Webb, right?
Yeah, no. Barkley is going to be Davis Webb basically
Yeah.
in that sense. Like it's just gonna be. That's what
He
he's gonna
might be a practice squad guy.
That's what he is.
But
He's a practice
gonna
squad
be
guy.
the third
He's,
string
he's good.
quarterback.
He's good for the he's good for the locker room. Basically, everyone loves him in there. But like obviously the key they got the one Kiwi signing.
yes.
Isaiah McKenzie, face of the
Isaiah
face of the
McKenzie.
franchise.
So
That's the key
Punt
one,
return
obviously.
specialist. He can also catch a
gonna-
lot of touchdown
yeah,
passes
yes.
as well. But
He's gonna
Von
just-
Miller and OJ
It's
Howard,
crazy.
I mean, that's huge.
That's tight end too. That's literally what I was like. Oh, get a late one in the draft. You don't need to get a late one in the draft now.
yeah.
Like, you
now
just-
you don't have to.
Yeah, like
You
OJ.
already got covered.
You have Dawson Knox, obviously, who's becoming a superstar, and then you have OJ Howard, who's going to be a freak. Like he's good. Like he's not. He was expected to be so much better out of college, but like it doesn't matter because he's still good. Like you give him a good quarterback, because like he was okay with Jameis Winston on the Bucks, which obviously Winston threw just as many picks as he did touchdowns.
That
so
was
that's,
insane.
That's not saying much.
30 touchdowns, 30
Exactly.
picks.
Like that
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
that season you just can't count, so it doesn't matter. You look at he was doing good with Brady until he brought Gronk back, so he basically became the third guy on that depth chart for tight ends, which means he doesn't touch the field. And now with Josh Allen, who I think Ken Dorsey likes tight ends, which is why Dawson Knox got the ball so much last year.
Right.
We're gonna run two tight end sets, and it's actually gonna make the offense so much different, which is a good thing. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And not only can OJ Howard catch the ball, but he can
He
also
blocks.
block.
He blocks so well. Actually,
Creating
which
like
is
run blocks and pass
it's
protection.
such an
It's
underrated.
great.
It's such an underrated,
underrated.
thing.
It really is, and I think the closer we get, like everything that's happening, I'm
so
so
ridiculous.
excited.
It's crazy.
Like overall, like I can't wait. Like I want the season to start tomorrow. Like
No way, I love
Well,
draft
okay,
season.
after the
I
love
love
baseball.
draft season.
I
Draft
love
season,
baseball because
But-
I need to see. I can't wait for April for baseball first, and then we can get into September. But
Yeah, I was gonna say
yeah.
no. I need draft season to come along because that's when my football knowledge shines is draft season.
I mean, yes,
And
that's
that's
fair.
when Indy actually chooses a
But-
wide receiver.
No, they don't.
have
Indy's,
Matt
no
Ryan to
offense,
throw to.
Indy's so bad at drafting. You know this. Like, we both know this. Indy is bad at drafting.
Well,
Trevor,
drafting
you gotta
key,
accept it at
no. Drafting key defensive players, they are awful.
Yeah,
But,
they're
like,
bad at drafting defense, which is like
Yeah.
almost what they're gonna do this year. I think they're gonna. I don't know. Like,
I don't know, trading up to get Jonathan Taylor when they
That
already had
was
a running
good.
back. That
Yeah,
was huge.
like,
That
that's
was
insane.
like the one
Okay,
Colts.
yeah, whatever. I'll give you guys that one
But
because
yeah.
obviously
With that
Yeah.
said, though, I hope that wasn't too much like NFL talk for everybody out there. But
so much.
oh
so
my
much.
goodness,
And we
that was a
honestly,
lot of stuff.
We didn't even
scratched
cover all,
the first.
we didn't even
barely-
cover all the Bills
we
stuff,
didn't even
but we
cover all
covered the
the
biggest
Bills
one, so
stuff.
it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I feel
we'll
like
be
we
back
were
next
just
week.
yeah, we'll be
With
back
whatever
on there.
happens in the next week.
Whatever happens next week, we're going to get closer to the draft, which is great. And then
So
in
excited.
approximately 2 minutes, stay tuned for Brent when he's going to talk about hockey with me. More specifically, the fun Sabres. Stay tuned.
We've been down there. You gotta do the same. Post office. All you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. For selective service. It takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. For selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, selective service. You gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective service. We've been down there. Post office. You gotta do the same. Post office. All you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. For selective service. It takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. For selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, selective service, you gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective service.
Happy to have Brent join us for some NHL talk, and I believe the first thing we need to discuss, he's rocking the old Ryan Miller things right now.
Had to pull it out tonight.
Are the Sabres actually a fun team to watch in the month of March?
You know, I saw a post the other day that said from 2019 to 2020 and 2021, our March record's been 3, 28, and like 6 or
Yeah.
something like that. And now we're standing at 5 and 4. I mean, shoot, we went to that Vegas game. I don't know what's going on with the Sabres, but they're turning it up. That's every single time I come on here and I talk about the Sabres. Everything I say, they do the complete opposite. I don't know if they're listening to me or what, but like, I love it. So I don't know if I should just keep talking
Keep
bad
bashing
or
'em.
I might as well. I think I might as well, honestly, because they're playing really good these past few games and on a little hot streak too.
I think some of the highlight games that, Sabres fans could have sat down and watched in the month of March, definitely the Vegas game. 100% that was a game, a very interesting type of, atmosphere in there. It's an atmosphere that we really haven't seen all year long. It was like 13,000 fans were there booing the former captain, Jack Eichel. That was also pretty strange. And then watching the Sabres go in there and beat them, that was great. And then
awesome.
also the Calgary game. It was pretty boring in the first couple periods, but the third period they were starting to, take shots on goal. Both teams almost scoring, and then Tage Thompson taking it away in overtime to score
Talk
on the
about
empty
the
net goal.
choke from the Tandy. Oh my God.
All that buildup for the goalie to make a crucial mistake like that.
Literally, just handed it to Thompson. Just, here you go. Here's the empty net.
And he's not missing that.
No chance. If he would have missed that, I don't think I would have.
I would have
said,
said, Calgary better go down the ice and score right now. We don't deserve to win.
Actually, though, that's the first shutout the Sabres have had in over 2 seasons.
That's crazy. Yeah, since before the pandemic, I think, right? So like the fall of 2019 was the first time, or it was the first time since then where they got a shutout. But I mean, Thompson is the leader on this team right now.
He's been the leader for a few months now.
Right, like you could slap the C on Alex Tuch if you want. I'm on the Tage Thompson train. I think, he's the guy that shows the most leadership in the locker room right now, and totally a bounce back season from last year where he was clearly struggling and the whole team was basically struggling last year. But just a total rebound this year from a guy like Tage Thompson.
Yeah, no, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of him. From game in, game out, he's always bringing the intensity. He's hitting. He loves getting in the corners and getting in front of the net and trying to get those dirty goals. Those are the players that we need on the Sabres. And also, the other day, Dahlin.
Looking like Frölunda Dahlin out there.
Honestly, I don't even know. I don't know what he ate that day. I don't know what he took that day. I don't know. He was
eating his Wheaties that morning, bro.
Yeah, must have been doing something right. But yeah, Dahlin had a game against Vancouver. Probably the best game he's had in a long time, honestly. Like, he played really. It looked like I was playing NHL on Xbox or something, because he was just like walking through the team, and it was just like, Dahlin, where's this been all season?
Dahlin laying people out, scoring the game-winning overtime goal. That was fantastic. A very long game, it felt like, because it seemed like they were reviewing everything in the second period. But it didn't matter. The Sabres, after dark on that road trip, they won 2 out of 3. I don't remember the last time they went out west and had a winning record in that stretch. This Sabres team is showing flashes, I think.
Oh, yeah, they definitely are. And, I mean, with the trade deadline, we didn't really do that much. But, like, honestly, with the players that we got coming in, I'm totally fine with it, because, like, the group that we have right now, I think what's happening is they're starting to get their chemistry built up a lot more. As you can see, the lines are starting to click more. The coach is throwing different people, different guys.
Power play
we had
units
Cody
are switching up.
Eakin starting.
Yep.
Like, there was just like, we're switching it up game in, game out. Players are starting to come together. And with, honestly, Tuch coming to the team, I think he brought in that Buffalo light to, like, the locker room atmosphere, because a lot of the players were probably definitely down a little bit when we were on a big losing record. And Tuch, being the hometown kid, he came in and he was like, I want to play here. I've wanted to play here since I was a little kid. And he's definitely a big reason of why the Sabres have been able to turn it around a little bit.
And literally last season, I was just thinking, like, there can't be one player in the league right now that's like volunteering, I want to be a Buffalo Sabre. And then this guy named Alex Tuch comes in a trade, a guy who grew up loving the Sabres in Syracuse, picking the number 89 because of McGillney. He's somebody that actually wants to play here. And that was a key, like, move that Kevin Adams made to trade for this guy, because he truly wants this team to do well, and he grew up idolizing this team. This was like a childhood dream for him to play for the Sabres, so of course he's going to go in there and put his best foot forward, but he's probably one of the only players that actually wants to play with the Sabres and then is succeeding. Like, you hear throughout the trade deadline, I'm excited for this opportunity, but Tuch really, really, really wanted to be here.
Yeah, no, Tuch's definitely a good addition. And talk about that Vegas game real quick. Look who scored the goals for us.
Oh, that was
Vegas' zone.
You couldn't even script that. I mean,
literally.
Peyton Krebs scoring the first one. And then it was Olsen on the power play on the second one.
And then Tuch buried the empty netter.
Tuch on the empty net, taking it away.
And then Eichel not even scoring. Before the game, the props for Eichel scoring was high, so I took it. Didn't throw that much on it, but I took it.
I thought he was going to score 2.
Yeah, he's coming back into the hometown. Like, people are booing him. I remember I even told you he's probably using that as motivation, and nope. No, but honestly, I'm glad. I'm glad he didn't score, because I didn't want him to have a good game.
He folded.
Yeah, I mean, he did.
Just look at the end of the game. He's slamming his stick against the boards. He was frustrated. He didn't like the boos.
Then he said that in the post-game interview. Roasted the fans a little bit.
Yeah, started to get a little chirpy with the fans, saying that it was the loudest place, or the loudest he's heard the place, in his NHL career. basically saying it took 7 years until up to him leaving for the fans to get into the game, which was completely false. This was he kind of does have a point to where he said, this is the loudest he's heard this place, but it's the loudest he's heard this place this year. Because they came out to watch Jack Eichel, but 7 years. I remember the 10-game win streak game. That was a sellout crowd.
That was unbelievable. His first
NHL
game. Yeah, like that was like I don't know if that was a sold out crowd, but like there were so many people at that game because I remember that his first NHL goal. That place was roaring.
And his first NHL overtime goal at home, where he put it through Cam Ward's pads with a second left to go in overtime against the Hurricanes. That was loud too. Any game during the 10-game win streak. Like the game before Thanksgiving against the Flyers that was on national TV, that was a sellout crowd. They took a 4-0 lead in the first period in that game.
Yep.
It was loud the rest of the way. So I think he was just obviously bothered by the booze, and he couldn't handle it. But you know what, Jack? You're 4-12 right now with Vegas in these games. I still like Jack, but that's more than just a coincidence right there.
I mean, if we want to touch up on Vegas, I mean, like, man, let's just go back a little bit when that trade happened.
Go all the way back to
Eichel,
November, yeah.
Stone got put on IR, probably holding him off to the playoffs. Everyone's like, oh, Vegas, they're about to go on a tear. They're about to become like the top 10 team in the league.
So that's what we all thought.
That's what we all thought.
We all thought that.
Then they came to Buffalo. That's all it took.
They lost 3-1, and then
after
they
that,
lost 4 in a row after that, and then for the first time in Vegas' history, ever since coming in the league in 2017 as an expansion team, was the first time they ever lost 5 consecutive games.
Yeah, honestly, you know what they're playing like right now? They're playing like some absolute toy bots on the ice, dude.
I completely agree that they're playing like toy bots, but at the same time, it's you get yourself in a slump, but I think they're Vegas. They're gonna find their way out of it. Jack Eichel's still a good player.
Yeah, they're still gonna go to the playoffs. Like it's still gonna happen. They may not make a run. They may make a run. Honestly, I think the problem right now is they don't have a goalie.
Yeah.
They don't have a goalie.
It's just inconsistent goaltending at this point.
Yeah, because Leonard's out, so like.
Who did we see in that? It was the Sabres. They faced against their backup. I don't remember his name, but
that's the goalie that's been playing for him. And
he was kind of holding it down in that game until Olofsson scored that awesome goal where he roofed the top corner. That was a great shot.
That was a perfect shot.
I mean, Vegas has to figure it out because I don't know where they sit right now, to be honest, but I think they're just on the outside looking in, aren't they?
I think so, if I'm not mistaken.
And Eichel got hurt again.
Did he?
Yeah, I think
didn't even hear that.
Went down. I think it was a hand injury. It was, but I mean, just bad things for Vegas right now.
When was that? Like the last game?
A couple of games ago, yeah. I don't know if he came back. I'm just, I remember seeing it on social media saying that, Eichel's down again. I'm like, dude, no way.
I mean, they're still standing 4th in the division.
Probably have a wild card.
They're still positive, so they still got that going for them. But I mean, Canucks are not too far behind them. They're at 68 points, Canucks are at 68, and Vegas is at 72. So, I mean, if Vegas falls again to another team, maybe the next 2, and Canucks win the next 2.
Because Vancouver got a point. They lost to Buffalo, but they still got a point.
They still got the point, yeah,
from overtime.
Exactly.
And then, with that said, do you have faith in the Sabres next year? Like any form of faith that they can possibly make a playoff run?
I'd say
this year it doesn't matter. I think we're all just moving on to next year, where you're going to have a lot of more fans buying season tickets, a lot more reasons to buy season tickets, like names like Tuck Krebs and Owen Power coming up next year. I honestly think they're either going to be just on the outside or they're going to find their way to a wild card.
Yeah, I would say they're probably going to be just hanging on the outside. It might come close. It really just depends on like how we do, basically from the months of January to the time it's playoffs, because those, or like even December to playoffs, I feel like those are like the most important months.
Yeah, and the season hopefully won't be over by December.
Yeah.
God.
But like honestly, with the goalies we got coming in, and Quinn coming from the Americans, because he's still going off there.
He's great in Rochester.
He's cracked on Rochester right now.
Yeah.
So he's going to come here. Then we have OP. Like, I'm definitely excited for next year. I'd agree. I think they're going to be sitting right on the outside, maybe catch a wild card spot. If not, I think next year after that, will look more promising for a playoff. First time in
11
a
years?
long time.
11 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time, fun fact, the Sabres made the playoffs, I was in 4th grade.
Wow.
Last time they made the playoffs, I was in 4th freaking grade. So hopefully they can change it up, go into next year, and at least, fight for a playoff spot by the time March and April rolls around. But with that said, you have to build your team the best way possible. The Sabres really weren't too active in the trade deadline. They traded Robert Haig away to Florida in exchange for a 6th-round pick. That's okay, because he was just the add-on pick that during the Ristolainen trade in which the Sabres got a 1st-round pick out of it.
Yeah,
Like, if you want this 1st-rounder, you have to take Haig too, and the Sabres said, sure. If you're giving us if we're giving you Ristolainen for a 1st, give it to us. But names like Olofsson are still on the roster. Asplund still on the roster. You still have guys like Pezic that are still on the roster.
Still have Skinner and all the big guys on the roster.
Maybe after the season is over, could you expect maybe a Middlestat trade or an Olofsson trade or a Pezic trade or I'm thinking maybe a Rasmus Asplund trade or, Victor Olofsson, I think is the biggest name for trade value right now.
I think for the Olofsson would be the biggest name for the trades. I think Middlestat, Pezic. See, I don't know. I don't know if Middlestat would get traded. I think they would just send him down to the Amerks. Pizik, I could low-key see him getting traded just to try and get some other pickup or maybe another draft pick. But honestly, yeah, because Middlestat, I don't know. He's inconsistent, but like when he goes off, he goes off.
Yeah.
So like
he builds that trade value when he scores.
Yeah, exactly. So it's tough to tell with him. So I think if he starts dipping a little bit, I think they're going to send him to the AHL. But the other guys, like you said, like Olofsson, that's a big name.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen with the 2 new goalies coming up. Maybe you can trade him away.
Who do you think is going to be our starter?
I think it's going to be Devin Levi, if I'm being completely honest. I think I
think that's going to be a battle for that spot.
Either way, they're both going to make the team. They're going to be the best goalie tandem in the NHL, or at least one of the best goalie tandems since Ryan Miller and Marty Biron were taking the helm that year where they won the President's Trophy when they were there. I think, if that's what you do, maybe have Levi play 50 games and then maybe have Portillo play 32 to go 50-32, basically go half and half, or at least 60-40%.
60-40, yeah.
But I think the potential of them coming up to at least Rochester in the beginning of next year. We don't know what's going to happen with Craig Anderson, but he said that he thanks the Sabres for not trading him at the deadline because he believes that he's an important asset to the team, and I think he is.
Oh yeah, he definitely is.
Salute to Craig Anderson.
Salute to getting us the first shutout in 2 seasons.
And also getting your 300th career victory in front of us while we were sitting up in a suite watching the Sabres beat the Vegas Golden Knights. So that was awesome too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Craig Anderson's been holding it down. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen with him next year. You got to think at least one of those prospects is going to come up to Rochester next year and just completely destroy the AHL and then get called up to the NHL. And then you're going to have the best goalie tandem that that the Sabres have seen in over a decade.
Yeah, and it's going to be super exciting to see. I can promise you that. But now, I want to touch up on this because I try bringing this up every segment. Ovi, thank you.
Goal watch.
Thank you. Finally did it. He finally passed Yager, standing at 3rd now for all-time leading goal scorer.
Cracked the top 3.
At the top 3, standing 1st of all time in power play goals. I honestly think he's going to pass Howe this season because I was doing the math the other day with Mr. Brady director guy over there, Fuller, and if he was able to beat Gordie Howe's record this season, he would basically have to just average a goal a game, and if he were to have like a 2-goal game or a 3-goal game, he could just sit on a game and not score and like still pick it up after that. And like them going into playoffs, depending how they do there, I think he's got a pretty good shot of even passing Howe this season.
He could, and he's only 36?
37.
Gordie Howe played until he was like 50-something. So Ovi's doing this within like 12 years, beforehand. So he's got 12 years under him, and he still has the chance to pass him. That's how good Alex Ovechkin is. And I have all the confidence in the world that he's going to go in there and beat Wayne Gretzky too.
Yeah,
Because
no,
Alex
100%.
Ovechkin will not stop. He will not retire until he's the #1 goal scorer.
And he's not going to pull a Tom Brady where he fake retires.
Yeah, give me a break. What a joke. But yeah, like you said, #1 all-time in power play goals. Everyone knows his spot, and goalies still can't stop it. Right near the hatch marks, he snipes the top corner. Goalies have had over 13 years of film on him and still can't stop him. That's just how good he is.
Goalies and teams.
Yeah.
Every team knows their power play. Literally every single team, they do the same thing every time. And if they cover Ovi, they leave Oshie wide open in front.
Yep.
So it works no matter what. Like, they have one of the highest power play percentages in the league, and it stands for it. So
Right, and don't let anyone tell you that Sidney Crosby's better than Alex Ovechkin, because that is just straight up false information.
that's totally inaccurate.
You will get reported for lying to the press, lying to the media. You will get publicly slandered.
I will personally cancel you. I will personally cancel you.
I will knock on your door and say you're wrong. Like the SpongeBob alphabet soup thing, or it just says get a job. It would say you're wrong about this, and then I'll just leave it on their doorstep for them. Because Alex Ovechkin, he will be at the end of his career, he'll be the greatest hockey player of all time. Mm-hmm. I've said it right here. Brent said it before. We truly believe that it's time for a new great one.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky's been the great one for what, 2.5, 3 decades now? I think this is truly the guy to beat that record.
Yeah, if you look, what sounds better? The grade 8 or Sid the Kid? Come on. It's already written right there.
Or Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The Obi-Wan Kenobi. Come on, yeah. I think he's definitely gonna go down as one of the greatest hockey players of all time. Sorry to any Crosby fan, but also not sorry. Crosby sits way down on that stat list. If you wanted,
it's not even close.
If you wanted to debate me on that, he sits way down. He's 20-something for points or assist. But even Ovi's got a lot more points than him. So Ovi's definitely gonna go. And he's been so committed to the Capitals from day one.
Absolutely. Ovi is up here, and Crosby is down here. Basically, what we're saying. Ovi's up here, Crosby's down here. Mm-hmm. And real quick before we move on to the next segment, how about Giroux
to Florida
Panthers? Real quick. The trade deadline has been popping off over the past week or so. Claude Giroux to Florida for a first-round pick in 2024?
The only reason I'm upset with that is because, why? Just why?
Why 2024?
Why 2024? So, there's that question. That's a big question. But, why would, in the right mind of Philadelphia, would you trade away your captain? He needs a cup. He needs to go to a better team, but, Florida
wants their cup.
Are you kidding?
They want their cup in Sunrise, and they want to raise that with Sam Reinhart and Claude Giroux, I guess. So, Brent, thanks for coming on. I believe we're going to have Topher come back on to talk some college hoops and March Madness. So stay tuned.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Happy to have Topher back on to talk some college hoops. March Madness is here. I think the word madness, perfectly describes what's going on here. We have already reached the Sweet 16. Topher, so many good games.
Actually insane. I think we say this, we say it every year, but but there's literally nothing better than the March Madness. Like,
Yeah.
every game is just, like, not every game's exciting, but, like, every game matters. It's so cool.
It's basically just do or die.
It's awesome. There is nothing like it in sports.
Exactly. Yeah, I think even just watching some of the games in Buffalo, like, it was so cool to see the KeyBank Center host March Madness games and see all the fans that support there. And trust me, I honestly think Buffalo has the revenue to support an NBA team with everyone that made it out to March Madness. You cannot convince me otherwise.
No, literally. I think this is the selling point they needed. Like, it wasn't sold out, but it was close to being sold out.
Packed.
It was so packed. And it was sick because it was so loud. Did you hear how loud that place got when they showed Brandon Bean on the Jumbotron?
Yes.
It erupted in there. Now just think about that. If it's like just an actual basketball team there.
Right.
Like, people show up to the Bisons games, dude. Imagine if you bring out an official. Exactly. The Bandits are literally not one of the core 4 sports, but Buffalo supports them so well.
And they pack that house.
And it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. And if it's a new basketball team, they'll support them if they're not good at first.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know how. I really don't know how it works for an expansion team in the NHL. But like, Seattle needs one and Buffalo needs one.
Yep.
That's what it is. Like,
bring back the Sonics. Bring back the Braves.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
all. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. No.
So with that said, though, the games that got underway, where do you even want to start? I'll let you take this one. Which game do you want to start off first? There's so many good ones.
Okay, so are we gonna go Sweet 16 and then work backwards? Is that how we're gonna do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just want to start with let's start West. Let's start in the West.
Okay.
All right. So Gonzaga, Arkansas. So funny enough, this is scratch in terms of seeding, but not how they got there.
Right.
Right. Like that's how. So like Gonzaga kind of looks a little vulnerable right now. They don't look as dominant as they did last Madness at all. Like, the 16th seed ran with them for the first game.
No, they did.
Like, the scoreboard did not show it. They won by 20. It was like 19 or something. No, they won by 21.
Yeah,
but
20,
for the first like 3 quarters of that game, Georgia State was in that basketball game.
They were.
And they had no right to be in that basketball game. But oh my God, and then they played Memphis. Memphis was tied. Like, these scores do not represent how close these games are.
Right.
Like, they literally look like they're blowouts, and they're not at all. Gonzaga definitely looks beatable. I don't think it's Arkansas. I don't think Arkansas beats them. Because, I'm not going to lie, the teams Arkansas played weren't very good. Like, Vermont was a very good basketball team. They were technically the #1 scoring team in the country.
Yeah.
But they played an awful division.
They weren't that good defensively as
well.
They
were awful defensive efficiency-wise, which I think makes up for Arkansas, because Arkansas is an SEC team. They know how to hang with teams.
Yeah.
And then obviously New Mexico State played very well against UConn. Obviously that was a surprise upset. I didn't have it in my bracket. I thought UConn was going to make Elite Eight, but New Mexico State did good. I can't think of the player's name. I don't know his name. He played really good in the conference tournament, and then he came in. I'm gonna blank on his name.
Yep.
Because he did super good against UConn, and then he just didn't show up in the Arkansas game. And so realistically, I think
very inconsistent.
Yeah, which is annoying because he's not gonna get drafted, but he's a good player. I just can't think of his name. It's gonna bother me because it's not an uncommon. Oh, it's Teddy something.
Yes, it is.
It's Teddy something. And I can't, whatever. It's gonna blank me. It's Teddy.
Underrated player in that game.
It's just because he's in a bad conference, which is
Right.
a big reason they're not gonna get. He might get drafted, but it's probably be second round if anything. But no. So Gonzaga versus Arkansas. I take Gonzaga here. I have Gonzaga in my bracket. I have them going into my. I have Gonzaga going into my Elite Eight. I think. I might have them in my Final Four.
You have them beating Arkansas.
Yeah,
so they would go to your
almost
Elite
positive.
Eight. Yeah.
I have them. Yeah, I'm pretty confident they're going to be Arkansas. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think because I don't think Arkansas is that great of a team, but I still think Gonzaga just looks vulnerable in this tournament the whole time.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. Gonzaga, you have these lesser teams with the lower seeds hanging with them the whole time. Just watch the first half, go back and watch the highlights.
Yeah,
every
both
first
of the
half of those
games.
games. They just stick with them. The opposing team is nailing every 3.
It's crazy.
They're hitting every field goal inside the arc.
Defensively, they don't look good
And
in
they
the first
don't
half.
look
in
good
the first half,
defensively.
they don't look good in any of the games.
But like you said, I don't see them losing to Arkansas.
Yeah, no, I think star power with Chet Holmgren and Drew Timme is just going to carry that. It's been carrying them through the rest of these early games. I think it does it until they meet a team like Duke.
Right.
Or honestly.
No, I wasn't even going to say.
Next game.
I wasn't even going to say.
Actually, I didn't realize who Duke was playing. So this next game, I think makes it into the semis. Whoever wins this game between Texas Tech and Duke makes it to the semis. I think they clean the Elite Eight, and I think they clean the Elite Four. I think these two teams right now are the best two teams remaining. Honestly, it's these two teams in Arizona that are the three best teams I think.
No,
left in
I
this.
completely agree with you on that.
Funny enough, I think these Sweet 16 games between this one and one we'll talk about later are the best remaining games.
Oh,
I think they're
absolutely.
going to be the most competitive. Texas Tech and Duke are probably underseeded. Which is weird because they're a 2 and a 3. They are underseeded teams. Texas Tech easily could have been a 2 seed because when they are healthy, I said this earlier. I literally said it earlier in the year. When Texas Tech is healthy, they are a Final Four team, and I strongly believe
They could be looked at as a 1 seed.
They are they couldn't because they didn't win their conference. But God, are they so good? They're just so good because Baylor won the conference tournament, so they couldn't get the 1 seed.
Of course.
But,
well,
hey,
they
Baylor
definitely could have been a 2.
Baylor frauds. I called it earlier, by the
Yep.
way. Baylor lost, but no, I called it earlier in the season. Texas Tech and Duke is the game of the year. I think it's the game of the tournament because Duke beat Michigan State, in which was such a good matchup. Like that score did not. I'm sad. I hate Duke. I really do. Duke has 5 guys going in the first round of the draft.
Yeah, I'm
Five
getting
players.
sick of Duke as well.
You get sick
Absolutely.
of Duke. Duke is literally the Alabama of college basketball at this point.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
They're the Jimmy Johnson. They're the New England
it's
Patriots. They're the
stupid.
Pittsburgh Penguins.
they are. They're yes.
Right. So, but having said that, though, do you see Texas Tech possibly beating Duke? Because I can honestly see a minor upset coming. Maybe Texas Tech dethrones them. They can go in and take down Gonzaga. Because honestly, I'm with you on that.
I think
whoever wins this game, it pretty much is a lock for the semifinals.
Absolutely. I think it really is just whoever. I think, because I really just,
Gonzaga's fallen off a little bit.
I think Gonzaga is just going to lose to another team with better star power. Because in this tournament, they haven't fought that yet. And when they did in the past, they lost to it. They lost to a St. Mary's. They've lost to Duke earlier in the year. And I think they lost to Kentucky earlier in the year. They lost to teams with better star power than them. Chet Holmgren is an absolute freak of nature, which is weird because he's as skinny as me, but he's also 7 foot, but he's so good at basketball. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. He's a superstar, obviously, from a college basketball standpoint. But when they face other teams with superstars, they lose.
Right.
Like, they're obviously one of the best teams in the country. They're a 1 seed and for good reason. But I think whoever wins this game, I don't know who wins this game. I think in my bracket, I have it as Texas Tech.
Okay.
I don't have my bracket up right now. I just have the official bracket. I think I have Texas Tech beating Duke. That's mainly bias of me not liking Duke. But it's going to be a good game.
Okay, so final predictions in the Sweet 16. I have Gonzaga beating Arkansas. I'm going to say by 10.
Yeah, I think it'll be another one of those games. I agree with you. I think it'll be double digits, but I think it'll be one of those things Gonzaga pulls away late.
Okay.
I think this game is
I
close
can see that too.
for like the first until 5 minutes left in the game. I think because I watched Arkansas beat Kentucky.
And then it'll go down to intentional fouls.
It'll just like the game will not look as close as it should. Will not look as close as it was because that's every Gonzaga game so far.
And this is the game that I'm really looking forward to. Texas Tech will beat Duke by 3 points.
You think
Book it.
You think it's buzzer beater? Or do you think it's buzzer beater, or do you just think Texas Tech holds on by 3?
I think Texas Tech is going to hold on, and Duke's going to miss a game tying 3.
I could see
at
it
the end of the.
Dude, this is the hardest game to pick. I genuinely believe this is the hardest game to pick.
Go with your gut, man.
If I go with my gut, I'm going to say Duke wins. That's the problem because they have so many stars. And Coach K is going to ride off into the sunset, and I hate it. It's so bad. Coach K should have lost to Michigan State. The refs threw that. I'm sorry, that's biased. The refs threw that game. I don't care. But no, I genuinely believe it's going to be wash. I think it's going to be Gonzaga Duke. But if Texas Tech wins, I'm not surprised at all. That's how I'm going to treat that game. I think Texas Tech has all the ability to win that game, 100%.
I completely agree with you.
And then basically whoever wins that game beats Gonzaga. It's just going to happen.
Yep.
Book it now. 100%.
Gonzaga's fallen off, and both these teams are coming in hot.
They're not even falling off. They just weren't they're overrated.
They weren't that competitive.
They're a great team. They're a great team. They're overrated.
I can see that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is the most competitive division too. By the way, the West is much more competitive than any other one.
Going into a division that's a little less competitive, but still very fun to watch, and a very funny upset that occurred in some of the earlier rounds. But the East. Let's go to the East Division real quick. Let's start off with the top game. North Carolina, the 8th seed, taking on the 4th seed UCLA.
Oh, UCLA is destroying this game. I don't care. UCLA is so good. They're better than a 4 seed. They're like the other two. UCLA is winning this game. If North Carolina wins, I will be very surprised. But at the same time, they're good. They beat Baylor, but that was also because I literally said earlier in the year, Baylor is not a good. They're not a good team. They're a fake 1 seed. They were 100% always a fake 1 seed, and they deservedly so. They lost to the 8 team. They obviously. Did you watch the North Carolina Baylor game? Oh my God,
Dude,
that was ridiculous. Dude, North Carolina almost blew a freaking. It was a 25-point lead.
Yeah,
it was something
huge. They were killing them.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
But Baylor, great, fantastic season. I don't know what happened. What happened to the motivation going into the March Madness tournament? But you just got that's like one of those shaking your head moments.
You want to hear my funny thing?
What happened? Yes.
I had Baylor losing in the first round of Norfolk State in my bracket.
I
was really confident. I was really confident it was going to happen. I'm not going to lie.
Man.
It was, to be fair, I knew I needed one big upset. I needed one big upset because I knew it was happening. It just happened later in the bracket. Later in the East Division. So I was close.
That would have been something.
If I called it, I would have. Oh God. Okay. Yeah, but no. UCLA is winning this game. I don't care. I think UCLA has star power. They have Johnny Juzang. They have so many other players. It's just UCLA is winning this game.
I can see UCLA taking it by 15.
I think honestly, I was gonna say like
15, 20.
I think that's too much. That's way too much. I think it's like 8, and I think it's a comfortable 8. As funny as that seems, because it seems closer. I think UCLA never feels in doubt. Maybe it gets close, but I think UCLA.
Unlike Gonzaga, UCLA never takes their foot off the gas in the second half. They always run it up.
They looked not great against Indiana. No, who'd they play? Akron. They didn't look great against Akron. They looked fine. They looked great against St. Mary's. That St. Mary's game gave me confidence in UCLA again. That I think UCLA could be the Final Four team in this.
I think so too.
I think they could be. Obviously, this second game will matter a little bit more because, oh my God, I don't even want to talk about this other matchup, dude. Because I hate Purdue, and the other team just ruined everyone's bracket.
Well, first of all, we need to talk about St. Peter's because this team is responsible for so many people losing money.
They're the Oral Roberts of this year.
Exactly.
They're literally the Oral Roberts
2019 Loyola Chicago team.
Yeah.
That is them. They are the 15th seed going up against the 3rd seed Purdue. If you look at this from a regular standpoint, Purdue should, on paper, blow these guys out.
Oh, they have this. Yeah, they have literally a top 3 NBA draft overall pick in Jaden Ivey.
Yes.
In Jaden Ivey.
And St. Peter's, you had a great run, I think, but this is where your fun stops.
Did they play a team with a super? Oh yeah, dude, they beat Kentucky. So I don't even know anymore.
They beat Kentucky. They also beat Murray State. But at the same time.
Murray State doesn't even, but Murray State, I love Murray State. Like, I've been on the record to say I love Murray State. My mom's from Murray. She lives 5 minutes away from campus. I watched John Morant play in college. It was sick.
Great.
But this year, Murray State was not that good of a team. Like, they went 30-2. They won their conference. Cool. They don't have a superstar on their team.
And they only beat them by 10.
They missed, they also missed, 12 free throws. I think their Murray State's free throw percentage is awful. It's so bad. St. Peter's, they looked better in this game. I don't know how you look better than when you beat Kentucky, but right. I don't, dude. I hate Purdue, so I'd love to watch St. Peter's beat Purdue. I think I'd
love to see it too.
Yeah, but no, I think Purdue wins, and then you get Purdue versus UCLA. I think I take UCLA. I think UCLA is a better team than Purdue. I just genuinely do.
I think that they're a more complete team. Purdue had a great, just regular season.
They have a dude that's 7'6".
They do have a dude that's 7'6".
It's not fair.
But UCLA is a way more complete team.
I do. I think UCLA's been here before. They made the Final Four last year. They know how to win. They're just I think they're just a better coach team, too. Purdue's good. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Purdue's a very good team. I hate Purdue because I'm obviously a Michigan State fan. But I think UCLA just wins this game. I think it's close. I think this game is very close. I just think UCLA wins this game.
So final predictions. You got UCLA and Purdue.
Yeah, and I think UCLA wins. I think UCLA goes to the Final Four.
It's hard to argue with that. Yeah.
Which gives us a Texas Tech or Duke matchup. I still just don't know who wins this game. I really can't pick it versus UCLA. I think, which is cool as hell.
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to say UCLA and Purdue go to the Elite Eight. That's going to be the most realistic option. St. Peter's, what a story. Winning 2 games in a row, that was great. And, the fact of them just being the 15th seed, beating Kentucky. It was so bad on the fact that, people bet on that. But if you bet on St. Peter's, you won some money.
Yeah, if you moneylined St. Peter's, I don't understand what's wrong with you, but, also...
Good job.
Cool. I don't even want to talk about it.
But, having said that, let's move on to the Midwest division here. A couple of decent games here in the Sweet 16. We got Kansas, 1st seed, taking on Providence, 4th. which is going to be a fun game to watch. And then Iowa State 11 taking on
This one's weird.
Miami 10.
Dude, this second game is weird. Like, the first game, I just think Kansas wins. Like, I really, like, Providence is good and all, but, like, they beat Richmond. Richmond beat a fraud, what are they, 5 seed? No,
Yeah,
Richmond play Iowa.
yeah.
Iowa's never good. Iowa just can't win in the tournament. It's just never gonna, like, Richmond beat Iowa. They were the 12-5 upset. Everyone knew it was gonna happen. Iowa's not a good team. Like,
Iowa doesn't know their identity.
I'm sorry. Iowa's a good team. Iowa cannot play in a tournament. They'll never be able to play the tournament. It'll just never. They can't win in March.
And
they're never gonna do it.
That whole school in general doesn't have a true
They
identity.
don't know how to win in the championship.
They're like, we're gonna have a good football team, and then they're like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
they're okay, and then they're gonna say we're gonna make a run in March Madness, and they're out in the first round.
They just do.
They just
can't
that whole school
win
just doesn't have an identity.
They can't win when it matters. That's
Yeah.
really what it is. Iowa looks really good for a majority of the year, and they can't win when it matters. And you saw that, and then obviously Richmond beat them because anyone was going to beat them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because Iowa just can't win in March. They're poorly coached when it comes to the tournament. Obviously, I'm not a basketball coach, so I can't say that, but like you watch it happen year after year.
Preparation's not there.
Everyone thinks they're going to be like, oh, this is the year Iowa does something, and it never happens.
Yep.
Like, it's Iowa and Texas, dude. Iowa and Texas are those teams in football and in basketball. Like, it doesn't
Right.
matter. So, like, yeah, Richmond lost, obviously, because they're not a good team. Providence kind of had a cakewalk. Let's be real. South Dakota State was not a good team. It just wasn't, no. Richmond is not a good team. Kansas is a good team. Kansas is a very good team.
This is the first like great team that they're seeing all tournament.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's in
Yeah,
the Sweet
no,
16.
they're gonna get bodied. Like I'd take Kansas in this.
Yeah,
easy.
Providence is gonna.
I think if Providence wins, I look like an idiot. Like it's just that easy. I think Kansas wins this very
realistically.
easily.
I honestly see Kansas winning
Exactly.
by 8 or 12.
Oh, I think
maybe
it's double digits. Like I think whatever. I would love to know what the spread is. I wish they showed it. I'd take Kansas.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm an awful bettor, as we've learned in this show, but I'd take Kansas.
Kansas is the first seed too, but like we've seen some upsets. But you know, being the first seed is all the right reason to bet for them. But it's also sometimes all the right reason to bet against them. I don't see Providence beating Kansas though.
I just can't.
I just don't
really
see it.
Can't.
So I'm going to take Kansas. You also take
Yeah,
Kansas.
That one's pretty.
This one
set stone.
is. I don't know.
What is this
what
game,
even
dude?
is this?
What is this game?
Miami, Florida, taking on Iowa State, the 10th seed
Oh, you know what's
versus the
funny?
11th seed.
Now that I think about it, I had Miami in this game. I know for a fact that because I thought Auburn was a fraud too. I actually had this. My bracket's actually pretty accurate. It's busted because of Kentucky. Like Kentucky was never happening. And what was the other one that really ruined me? Illinois. I thought Illinois was going to lose to Chattanooga. I was real confident in that one, and that game was close. I don't care. Illinois won by 1 point. I was almost right, but no. I think this game is. I didn't pick Iowa State getting this game because I thought it was going to be Wisconsin. Because like I don't like Wisconsin, but I thought Wisconsin was a better team. Like they're in the Big Ten, they're good. The Big Ten is good at basketball.
Right.
And what is this?
I'll take Miami.
I'll take Miami too, 'cause
I'll
I
take
think-
10 over 11, and I'll say that they win by maybe 4.
I think
Go with
because I
that.
think Iowa State's not that great. Like I don't know how Iowa State's in the Sweet 16 right now. Like I think it's more surprising that they're the most, besides St. Peter's obviously, they're the most surprising team in this. Like
I think so too.
yeah, because the other higher seed team wasn't like they didn't play. They played fraudulent teams. Like it's
Yeah.
just the other high seed team is Michigan, and we'll talk about them later. But yeah, I think it's more surprising Iowa State's in this than Michigan. Like it's just that easy.
And then Kansas and Miami. Do we even have to talk about
No,
who's going to win that
Kansas
game?
is winning that
Come on.
game. Like if Miami wins that game, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Miami goes to the semis. Count for some even more
Yeah, Kansas,
busted brackets.
Kansas is the Final Four team
Yeah, absolutely.
because we won't talk about that until we'll be in the Final Four when we come back next week. So yeah, I was gonna say
Right.
we won't go farther than that.
And then how about the South to round out the Sweet 16?
This is the second most important. This is the second tightest game I think is Arizona-Houston.
Arizona-Houston
I
is
think
definitely going
this
to be
is-
one that you're going to be on the edge of your seat watching
This game
because
will
Houston,
make me. Oh my God, they're so good. They're so underrated, dude. Houston is so good.
Houston beating Illinois by 15.
That game was so good.
I
That game
mean-
wasn't as close as the score said, but like when Houston got going, they were nuts. They're so good.
It's so hard to like once
They're
they
so
once,
good defensively.
Once they catch a spark on offense, though,
Exactly.
you're not stopping them.
No, it's like Houston's always going to be great on defense, and then once their offense gets moving, what's their point guard's name? It's going to bother me. I can't remember. I was watching the game, and their point guard, when their point guard's hitting shots, they're a different team because he's so good at.
It's like NBA
No,
Jam.
He's so good at finding. That's Jesus. No, so he's so good at finding open players that when he's hitting his shots, they're just so good. Like I don't think so. Like this game's gonna be so good, but I can't go against Arizona because I picked Arizona to win this tournament. Arizona is my ride or die team in this tournament, so I can't go against them. But God, I think Houston's going to be the hardest team they play.
I agree with you on the fact that Houston's definitely going to be the hardest team.
Yeah.
All I've been seeing on ESPN is signs that say whose house from all the Houston, alumni and everyone that's watching them and pulling for them. I'm going to say that Houston wins this one. Upset. They're going to carry this momentum going into Arizona. I apologize to you because
I could see it.
Arizona is probably your team right now to win it all.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But Houston, if they win by 3 or 4, maybe 5.
Oh, dude, if they win, it'll be close.
Honestly, just looking at what they did to Illinois, everyone had Illinois winning by like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Houston goes in and beats them by 15.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, for the sake of
They
that,
got all
100%.
the momentum swinging their way. I'm going to say Houston goes in and win. This is why oftentimes, number 1 seeds don't win March Madness, or sometimes you see the number 1 seed lose, whether it's in the Elite 8 or the Final 4 or the Sweet 16. The number 1 seed is the most pressured spot to be in if you're a team. You have everything to lose at that point.
That's why Gonzaga's going to lose, by the way. Like, this is
yes. Houston sitting at 5, they don't have that much to lose, but they're a top 5 team. And looking at like St. Peter's, they're going into this game having fun because they're the 15th seed. They have nothing to lose, while a team like Purdue has everything to lose.
Yeah.
That is why I have Houston just beating out Arizona in this one.
I mean, I could see it. I made 2 brackets. Well, I had 3 brackets. One with Arizona winning, that was my most confident, and I thought it's my best doing one. It's my one that's doing the best right now. 2 with Kentucky, which I just threw out the window after the first weekend because I thought Kentucky could win it. They have literally, oh my God, Kentucky losing literally just makes me mad. So by the way, and the third one I have is Houston because I think if Houston beats Arizona, they can win this tournament.
They could.
I think that's literally what I think it's. So my dream matchup right now, if Houston beats Arizona, which I don't think they're going to. My dream matchup is Houston versus Texas Tech in the finals.
Okay.
I think that would, dude, the state of Texas being oh my God, the state of Texas being good at basketball again would be crazy. And it's not even the Longhorns. Well, it was never going to be
It's not even the Houston Rockets either.
It was never going to.
It's not the Rockets either.
Never again.
Or the Spurs.
Yeah. See, that one's, one. They've carried the state of basketball for the longest time. It's okay. It's time to let Texas Tech and Houston do some things.
Right.
But no, I think it's, to be fair, I also think whoever wins this game, Final Four. That's just, I think
automatic.
I think it's.
If not, it's the finals, right?
It's the Texas Tech Duke thing with this game, basically. Those 2 games are going to be the closest games, and they're going to be the most exciting to watch. I hope, based off everything I've seen from these teams so far.
But if Houston does it and they pull it out, I think that they should even be considered a lock for the finals.
I don't know about that because I think Kansas versus Houston will be really close.
Oh yeah, you can't disregard that.
No, I think it's basically Kansas versus one of these 2 teams.
Yeah,
I
can see that.
That's what it is. And then this next game,
I mean, no brainer.
Dude, we say no brainer, and then Michigan keeps winning.
Yeah.
So, I thought Colorado State was going to beat Michigan. So, at this point, if Villanova wins, yeah, it was a no-brainer. If Michigan wins, I just don't know what to say anymore. If Michigan keeps winning, I don't know what to do.
You know what? Okay, in that case, Michigan keeps beating teams. I'll take Villanova by 2.
Oh, yeah, I do. Villanova's the better coach team. No.
I'll take Villanova.
Yeah, no, Villanova, I hope Villanova wins just so I don't have to hear anything about Michigan anymore because I hate Michigan, and no, Villanova should, in all theory, on paper, and just how they've played in this tournament. I mean, they beat Ohio State, and Ohio State was a better team than Michigan this year. Right. They're literally in the Big Ten together. So Villanova should win this game. Should, in all theory.
I know it's super hard to predict the outcome.
Exactly. But
of what March Madness is going to be, but do you have any? I honestly think Houston can go all the way and win it all.
So it's basically whoever wins this game for the 2 of us.
If they win that game, they go. You got Arizona. I'm rolling
I
with
think if
Houston.
Arizona wins this, I think it's Arizona, Texas Tech, or Arizona Duke in the finals. I think that's what it is. Obviously, that could just go out the window by the time we're back here next week because the Elite Four, the Final Four could just be 4 completely different teams.
No, right.
It could be Michigan, Arkansas, St. Peter's, and Iowa State in the Final Four the next time we're here. So I don't know anything.
It's going to be interesting to see. We'll be here for the Final Four next week once you come back on. That's when things are going to get really crazy. But coming up in approximately a minute, we're going to have Fuller on to talk some Formula One when we return.
Go Texas Tech, baby.
To Sofia. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. My little flowers, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. 'To S Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
And for our final segment of this special 1.5 hour sports hour show. So it's actually sports 90 minutes. That was the kind of the joke that was going around before the show. Sports 90 minutes episode. We're gonna have Fuller on here for Formula One. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? It's been pretty good.
A lot to discuss.
How was your spring break?
You know what? Mine was great.
Any good sports?
A lot of sports that we missed, coming from the show before spring break and of course spring break, and then hopefully we did a good job of covering everything for everyone here. But I feel like we missed a lot with Formula One over spring break as well.
Yeah, we did miss a lot over Formula One because last time we checked off, Mazepin wasn't out. We had a bunch of stuff to go to, but you know what? I've got some news for you. So Mazepin officially let go, and during the second test in Bahrain, Kevin Magnussen, ex-Haas, came back in, did some testing, and you know what? I think it paid off because this last weekend in Bahrain, K-Mag got 5th place, P5. That is best of the rest, which is a huge honor for any team, not Mercedes, Red Bull, or Ferrari. So Haas sits 3rd in the championship constructors-wise. It's looking really good for them. Honestly, this is the best they've looked in since 2018.
Yeah.
So 4 years.
No, it's nice to see some like the like the underdog teams kind of come up. Names not like Ferrari and some of these other top dog teams. It's also nice to see a team like Haas finally get back on the radar like they were back in 2018. And obviously, like you said, P5 it's like obviously one of their best finishes in quite a long time. But Haas is really bringing it together, I think, in the Formula One, races in Grand Prix as a whole. So overall, did you really expect this? Did any Formula One fan really expect Haas to do this right out of the gate?
Heck no, I did not expect that to happen out of the gate. I was astonished. Honestly, when he qualified P7, I was blown away. And
a top 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other one that blew me away in qualifying was Bottas. And based on how bad Alfa Romeo did in testing, they barely ran. They have a rookie, Guan Yu Zhou, who actually scored points in his debut, which is incredible. Barely happens. Awesome. 10th place, 1 point. Emotional after race. I personally hated Guan Yu Zhou. It kind of made me like him just a little bit. I still don't like him, but the Grinch's heart is growing for the Chinese driver. Ferrari looked great, but actually, let me go back to Alfa Romeo. Let me stick to the Italian team.
Never doubt the Ferraris.
Bottas keeping his Ironman streak alive of reaching Q3. Awesome job. Dragged that thing to, I think, P8, which was really great out of what they had. Managed to finish in the points again. Also amazing. Yeah, they both killed it. But going back to Ferrari teams, it's looking like this year, Trevor, it's your dream come true. Ferrari is sitting on top.
I'm telling you guys, you cannot sleep on the Ferraris. Like back when we did our show where we were like ranking the best looking cars and like who we thought was going to be the top tier team.
Ferrari was the top car.
I was riding the Ferraris hard because I always knew that they were going to be the top team. You cannot doubt the fantastic Italian brand in a Ferrari.
Formula One is Ferrari, and
can't.
Ferrari is Formula One.
That's right.
That's all I can say.
That's right.
It's nice. I love Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc as that matchup. That's a great driver lineup. They had a 1-2. Charles Leclerc finished first, Carlos Sainz second. That was one heck of a race for Ferrari, but they accomplished this because of one major issue, and something that the title champions have to face head on. Red Bull. They're looking in trouble. I don't know if it was just a fluke, but that reliability was horrendous.
They're just not finishing races.
So they finished most of the race. They got 50 of like the 60 laps done, and then Verstappen all of a sudden loses power steering, loses energy recovery, and has to coast back into the pits. And then at the same time, like 3 laps later, Perez starts to lose power because I believe his energy recovery was also broken. And he's having to defend against Lewis Hamilton. All of a sudden, his engine locks up, which just makes you spin if it locks up like that. There's nothing you can do. Your wheels stop spinning.
Right. It's just everything that's just beyond their control.
And Pierre Gasly on top of that, and the other used to be Honda powered, but now Red Bull powertrain engine in the AlphaTauri, also just didn't finish. We only had one finisher in Yuki Tsunoda, who did finish in the points. He finished 8th place. That's 4 points. That's really good. I think that puts them 3rd or I think 5th in constructors right now. Don't quote me on that one. But yeah, that looked really, really poor on reliability side, which is surprising. But speaking of poor, I am very, very bummed as a McLaren fan.
He's still repping the colors, though.
I have to.
It's all loyalty.
I mean, they are ahead of Red Bull in the constructors, so I mean, it's the only 2 I got. But Ferrari, just McLaren, that rivalry last year was so good. I was really hoping for that to continue. And McLaren just sat at the bottom of the grid. They were with the Williams and the Aston Martins, and I was not expecting that. Out of testing, they looked like one of the strongest aerodynamic teams there was. And nowadays, it's just, they were sitting, I think, 18th and like 16th.
Yeah.
And they sat most of the race in 20th and 18th. It was bad. I think Danny Ricciardo finished 1 place ahead of Lando Norris. Well, yeah, it was not good. I'm not looking forward to that. Aston Martin was sitting down right there with them, along with Williams. Williams
around like the middle of the field there.
No, lower bottom towards.
Yeah.
So right now, my rankings for cars would be Ferrari is number 1.
Absolutely.
Red Bull 2. Mercedes 3. It might be, I don't want to say it, it might be Haas 4.
It could be.
It could be. I don't think it is, but it could be. It could also be Alpine.
I think they're just on the outside. They haven't quite reached the level of Red Bull just yet.
No,
Ferraris are just. I mean, Ferrari's just taking off.
Red Bull has.
I think 4th is a good spot. It's the most accurate spot.
I think it's going to be another situation where Ferrari is more dominant. Carlos Sainz is a far superior second driver to Sergio Perez, that's no diss to Perez. I think Sainz is just. He's the cream of the crop. The top shelf stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Verstappen is the best all-around driver. No harm to Leclerc. I think Leclerc is one of the best qualifiers out there. But Verstappen is, he's world champion. He's defending world champion. He's on top of the world right now. He's repping number 1, which in Formula One, number 1 is reserved for the world champion. You can only run it if you were the previous year's world champion. Lewis Hamilton doesn't run number 1 because he doesn't see that he is champion this season. He sees competing with everybody else.
It's great.
But it's so nice to see it back on the grid.
Oh, yeah.
Last time it was there, it was 2014 with Sebastian Vettel at Red Bull again. So having that was nice to see back on the grid. But yeah, it was real sweet stuff to look at. What else was there? There was, Mick Schumacher and Ocon collided on the opening lap. And I wanted to highlight some sportsmanship because I love good sportsmanship. When, right after the race, Ocon comes sprinting down the pit lane, just hustling, trying to get to Schumacher before he gets into his garage to apologize.
Yep.
Which, there are drivers that will just do that over text afterwards, and it shows some real class to come up and admit your mistake to someone like that.
Right. Yeah, you see, altercations in F1. You see type of like on-track altercations in IndyCar as well as NASCAR. And most of the time, it's just ugly. Like you see other teams going to other teams' pit stalls, and it gets a little, you get brawls starting to come, and then you get the officials in
The
there.
last brawl I can remember was Brazil 2018, Verstappen and Ocon. Actually, Ocon again. Verstappen was leading the race. Ocon pitted for a new set of softs. He was faster. He was lapped, though, and he unlapped himself and collided with Verstappen. That was the last time I saw a fight, and that was a lapped car unlapping himself to the leader. It was Verstappen's fault because he left zero space for Ocon, but also Ocon does not have any right to pass Verstappen as the leader when his tires are only going to last 4 laps that are going to be faster than Verstappen.
Right.
It was a stupid situation, but brawls don't happen in Formula One, so it's nice to see some sportsmanship there.
Yeah, you always love seeing it too. Like, whether in any form of motorsport, like if you know that you're the one that caused that wreck and ended that person's day, it's best to just walk up to their hall or wherever it is, their pit stall, and just say like, "That was on me. Hey,
Exactly.
Hey, my bad. That was my bad."
That's my bad.
See what we just did?
See, that's proper sportsmanship.
That's how you do it. So maybe NASCAR should take notes because all we see every other week is just like Truex Jr. and Keselowski.
Speaking of NASCAR, though,
yelling at each other.
Andretti looks to be all but confirmed for a 2024 Formula One slot.
It's great.
It's not official yet. It can definitely still fall through. We've seen stuff that is way more finalized fall through, but it's looking real promising. And after Haas's season this year, it makes a lot of sense. Get Andretti in. Get some more names. Get an American team. And Andretti has promised that if he does come into Formula One, he will bring an IndyCar driver, a true American, back onto the grid. We haven't had one of those since, I think, 2014 or 2016. One of those even numbers in the early 2010s.
Why not Jimmy Johnson?
No.
Why not Jimmy Johnson in IndyCar? Why not bring him in, right? You said American driver. Bring in Jimmy Johnson. Why not?
I think they have other people in mind.
Yeah.
But
I don't think he's really an open cockpit racer, truthfully.
No.
Even though he did finish 6th in IndyCar over the weekend. That was pretty cool. But other than that, he's not an F1 guy. No, absolutely not.
It's a funny reference. But, yeah. So now I'm going to look ahead a little bit. Next week, we have the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And it's the 27th. Qualifying the 26th. It takes place 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Set your alarms. It's going to be a good race.
Set them up for 1 p.m.
Set them up for 12:30 so you can get the nice little pre-race coverage. See Martin Brundle walking around the grid interviewing drivers. It's hilarious when they do that. It's like they're a chicken with their head cut off. They have no idea what they're talking about, and they just go around and like, "Oh, what do you expect from this race today?" And then they'll literally like wander around the grid for 3 minutes. It's a fun time. Call up your dad, see how he's doing. Have a good time.
A nice little grid walk.
But I want to make a prediction for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I want to give us our podiums. I know you don't know that much, but you've seen the first race. You've seen a little bit.
Yep.
So I think my first top 3 are going to be Verstappen.
Okay.
Leclerc. Russell. Those are going to be my 3. I'm going young.
You could go Leclerc in first as well.
I 100% agree.
He could take first.
And Verstappen.
And Russell could go second. He could.
Yes, if something really.
But you never really know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna say at least. Give me a Ferrari wins.
Leclerc.
Give me Leclerc, at least in a top 3.
I 100% agree.
Because they're the ones that have been dominating so far. That was my pick from the beginning to at least absolutely destroy the 2022 Formula One season. So, just at least give me a Ferrari in the top 3 on the podium.
I think that'll happen. I'm changing my answer. Verstappen, Leclerc. I'm gonna go Sainz. I'm gonna go 2-3 for Ferrari. I want Russell to do good, but he finished 4th.
What about Haas? Do they have a shot at the top 3?
No.
Maybe a top 5.
But I do want to point something out. Verstappen is incredible qualifying around Saudi Arabian. The last qualifying lap, he crashed on the last turn last time, but it was one of the most incredible potential pole laps that never was. I was McLovin' it when I watched that live. It was something else. I
put that one on the quote board.
Oh yeah, that one sure goes on the quote board. But yeah, that's certainly something. I think that there's a great chance for Verstappen to make a good drive and outperform the Ferraris just on pure talent. This is a track that does not have a lot of great overtaking zones. So it could be something that we see Verstappen get a good pole and then hold on to it.
And qualifying for this, when does that take place?
That is 26th. I believe that is also 1 p.m. You might need to look at that, but yeah, it's something that we it's going to be interesting.
Definitely a lot to look forward to.
I do want to also point out Lewis Hamilton did keep his streak of, I think it's 13 consecutive seasons with a podium. He is the GOAT. Just like my main guy, Tom Brady, who is also the GOAT, and I am very glad to return. You cannot silence me. Tom Brady is the greatest player of all time, and he deserves to be respected. I am welcoming back. You could not. No, it's my jersey. It's Brady.
Get rid of this. It's not clean. No. No, just get rid of this. Okay. You know what? We had our fun. Brent just came in and threw his hat at him. It's turning into a frenzy here.
You know what?
A lot of information to take in.
Want a triple hat throw it for the send-off?
Yes.
All right.
Hopefully you enjoyed our hour and a half sports hour, whatever you want to call it. Sports 90. That's a good one for tonight's show. We'll see you the same time, same place next week. It's going to be an hour, though, just so you know. And we'll see you next time. 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
Have a good night, guys. That one landed right on our camera. So have a good night, everyone. My goodness. Wow.